2017. 1. What is the gradient of the line? I'll leave that with you guys. Hopefully we know what to do. Y equals mx plus b.
Straight out.
All right, what is the gradient of the line? Answer? 2x plus 4 equals negative 3y, divided by negative 3, 8. Remember, it's multiple choice, so you're not really going to get marks for working out, so no one really cares how you work them out. It's more about the answer here. What is the derivative of ex squared? Okay. How do we differentiate exponentials again? So the derivative of ex squared, remember, the derivative of any exponential is the derivative of the power, and then keep it the same. So the answer is?
Is it 2ex and then in brackets you put ex squared?
That's it. 2x, so differentiate x squared, 2x, and then ex squared. In brackets is even better. I like that you said in brackets. It's a good job. That way you won't make mistakes. Anyone not get that? Happy? Question 3 is done. Question 4, not for you. Question 5, for you. Logs. It is given that log A equals log B minus log C. Which statement is true? Who's reading the answers?
Is it C? Wait, sorry, no, D.
Like I said, who is reading the answers? And I know now it's you, definitely, and probably everybody else. The biggest mistake you'll make with multiple choice is sometimes looking at the answers, because they'll direct you towards something that you shouldn't have done. And Rad, it was you. For example, I'm sure everybody else. So be careful with that, with multiple choice. That is a big problem. That you usually look at the answers, and sometimes it's actually meant to be done like that, right? So let's get it clear. Sometimes you're meant to look at the answers, and that tells you what to do, to trial and error, whatever. Sometimes, this would be one of them, where if you're looking at the answers, unfortunately, you're going to get directed towards a wrong answer. And that's specifically done to make sure those students who do that get it wrong. So I'm giving you a heads up, be careful, multiple choice. Maybe the first thing I would do is look at that, and what would I write? Log A equals? What's log B minus log C?
Log B on log C.
One more time, try to think about it again. Log B minus log C is not what you just said. Log B on C, that's the one.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, and now what do you do to both logs, technically?
Exponential
Cut
them.
them out, exponential them, whatever you're used to. Go on. You've got A equals B on C. So it's actually B. See, Rad?
Oops.
Looks like, it's either these two, because that's what it's there for, to direct your brain towards them, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
All right, all good. All good. All right, number 7. Same thing, useless looking at the answers straight away. Just start with what do you know for tan and cot, plus cot. Once you've written maybe your first or second line, that's when you would start looking at the D. Tan, yeah, I think so. Sine on cos, cot, cos on sine, sine squared plus cos squared. Yep, I'm happy with that. 1 over cos theta sine theta. Sine squared plus cos squared equals to 1 on, and then you got cos and sine still, which becomes sec cosec. Was that too fast? Yes. So we agree with this first line. Common denominators. So it becomes sine squared theta plus cos squared theta on. We agree with that line. And then what's sine squared plus cos squared?
It's 1.
Yeah. And then of course 1 on cos is sec, 1 on sine is cosec. And they're multiplied. Any questions? No? Again, if you feel like that is a weakness, easy. Now you know, go to proofs for our trig, do 5-10 questions, and you'll be like, I'm back. It's very simple. Try to find the topics you're weak at and start working on them now while you have the time. All right, moving on. Okay, you can't do that one, you can't do that one, you can't do that one, but you can do that one. All right, obviously you can do A, that's a piece of cake. So do A, rationalize. Hopefully we haven't forgotten how to do that. Multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. That means the same as the denominator, just instead of it's a minus, it's a plus. So times top and bottom by that.
Is it 2 root 5 plus 2 on 4?
2 root 5 plus, or what did you say, 2 root 5 on?
2 root 5 on... Oh,
Like that?
wait. Oh, yeah, it is. 2 root 5 plus 2 on 4.
Yeah, plus 2 on 4. I think so. Say it again. Isn't it plus 4? Let's have a look. So, and that's not the final answer. If you wrote that, that's only 1 mark. But 1 mark only if you wrote that as your answer. Let's see. Times top and bottom by exactly the same, just a plus sign. That becomes 2 root 5 plus 2 times 1, which is 2. Root 5 is 5. 1 and 1 is 1. So like I said, 1 mark.
And then would you divide it by 2 so you do 2 root 5 on 2?
Whoops.
Or no?
No, wait, that was me. That was my mistake. But what you said 2 root 5
on 2 from there. Or would that not work? Oh, wait,
Correct.
no. Factorize. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that's a better word. If you're going to cross out, and if you're having problems crossing out properly, then you prefer to factorize.
Okay. Factorize the 2 out and then put it over the 4 and cancel it out.
Yeah, that's better. Then the answer is root 5 plus 1 on 2. For those who can tell, you've got to divide by 2. Then you still have to remember 2 on 2 is not 0, it's a 1. So that root 5 plus 1 on 2. That's the answer. 2 marks. Okay, any questions there? E, part of trig. Find the exact value of the triangle OAB. Find the exact value of the area of the shaded region. You'll need area of a triangle and you need area of a sector. Oops. Area of a triangle, area of a sector. Anyone want to tell us the formulas so that half r squared theta for this one, for sector. You think r theta is just arc length. Half r squared theta for sector, And what about a triangle?
Is it half AB sine C?
Half AB sine C. Someone's been studying. I like it. Half AB sine C. That should be easy. The big difference is it says exact. So be careful. Some things you might not be able to put into your calculator. All right, answer for I? 9? We agree with 9? Okay, I don't know, 9, yep. And double I? Half 6 squared. Who used 30 degrees? You can't, because it's theta by itself, you can't use 30 degrees. You've got to use it as pi on 6. What does pi stand for? Incorrect. No. Pi is not the 180 degree one here. Pi is 3.14. Why is pi 3.14? No. How the heck do we know when to use pi is 180 compared to pi is 3.14? That's the ultimate question you want to remember. How? How do you know the difference between pi is 180 and pi is 3.14? Can someone tell me the difference between the two? Sine graphs? No. Like, how did I know for that question there to use pi on 6 compared to the question above where I did sine of 30 degrees? I'm sure you guys did. And you didn't do pi on 6.
Because it doesn't give you, it's just theta, it's not sine theta or anything like that. So you have to turn it to radians.
That's 100%. So you're going to remember that for the rest of your lives, firstly. That's absolutely correct. So the fact that it doesn't have a sine, or cos or tan, you absolutely must use pi on 6, and pi cannot be degrees because it's not part of trig. It's just telling you it's theta, that angle there. But there's a bigger thing. This number here is an area that you're trying to find. Now, if I use 30, look what you're going to say. If I use pi as 180 degrees, you're going to say the area is half times 6 squared times 30 degrees. 30 degrees for area? Does that even make sense? Area in terms of degrees? Can area be in terms of degrees? So is pi 180 degrees for area? No. That's the only difference. Whereas pi is actually the length, 3.14, blah, 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 as pi on 6. Does that make sense? So what I'm trying to say is the context is important. If I came up to you and I asked you to find this arc length, and I told you you found theta equals to 30 degrees, do you think that's right? For length? No, it doesn't make sense. So your answer should have actually been pi on 6, which is still 30 degrees, but what does pi stand for? If it's length, 3.14. But if I also told you now that theta is equal to pi on 6, and theta was this angle, what is pi equal to in this case? 180 degrees, because that's an actual angle. Do you understand the difference between the two questions? Talking about the context. Now, the only reason why it didn't matter in this case, in I, even though it asked me to find area, is because of the sign. The fact that it had sine of a degree actually becomes a number. Like sine 30 became half. Right? So if I ask you to find this, because you can, what you guys got to understand is technically, here, you would have said this length is 3, this length is 1. Fair enough? But There's nothing stopping you from saying this length is 3 pi, and this length is pi. What is pi equal to? No, 3.14. Pi has to equal to 3.14, because the length. Pi is pi, as the way you know pi to be. The only thing is, if it's specifically an angle, only an angle is pi equal to 180 degrees. That's the only time where your pi is 180. Otherwise, technically, your pi's got to be 3.14. So that'll confuse you a few times until you get your head around it. Trust me. I know. I've seen it. All right. Easy. The answer to this, 6 and 6 cancels out. 6 on 2, I think the answer is 3 pi in exact form. So that's what should have happened to you. All right. Any questions? All good. Next one, solve and find a domain, G and H. How many exams have you completed so far? Maybe 7, 8 different weeks from last term, end of last term to now. See how long it takes for you guys to start to feel comfortable with the questions? You have to remember that for year 12. It's going to take you about 7 to 8 exams. It doesn't matter if it's over 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 7 weeks. It requires 7 to 8 exams for you to look at questions and just know what to do. Instead of, wait, how do I do this again? What do I do again? The magic number you're usually looking for is 15. If you complete 15 exams, you walk in, the minimum you should end up with is a 90%. So the magic number you're always aiming for is 15, which is really hard when you've got other subjects to study for. But here we go. X equals, Novak, what did you get?
X equals 10, X equals
Minus a third. Everyone agree? Anyone disagree? So I can do it.
Well, X equals -3.
1.
Yeah, I got -1 on 3.
Yeah, I think 1 is right.
3 and 3 is 1, yeah, not 2. Yeah.
I was going to say, I see 1 as well. All right, thank you. Done? All good otherwise? Hey, look, HSC is not that bad, right? This was 2017. Your HSC will be the easiest exam you all will sit. Easiest. It's your school exam that I can't say the same thing about. But your HSC, you're going to walk in, you're going to be like, Sam, that was the easiest paper I've ever done. Everybody does, every year. It's your trial HSC, your half yearly and stuff. You will not feel the same because you won't study for it the same way. But if you learn to study for it the same way, as if it was your HSC, which is what I will tell you guys to do, then you walk into your trials like as if it was your HSC and you'll find it easy as well. H, find the domain of the function. Can anyone see the answer straight away, what the domain should be? 3 minus x must be bigger than or equal to 0, because you can't have a square root of a negative number. So, what's your answer? 2. Yeah. Yep, is that what you're saying? Yeah. -3, -3, minus x greater than or equal to -3, x is less than or equal to +3. As long as x is smaller than or equal to 3, this will always be a positive number. If it wasn't, if it was 4, 3 take away 4 is negative, it stuffs up. All good? Any questions there?
Nope.
Nope. Find the equation of the tangent. Okay, I think that's the one you were trying to say, Emily, before. So find the equation of the tangent. What formula do we use for that? And again, you have x1 and y1, there it is. How do I find the gradient of a curve? Derivative, you have to differentiate. So differentiate, that gives me the gradient function. You guys remember that? That allows me to find gradient anywhere. If I want to find the gradient of my tangent, sub it in. 2 times 1 plus 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. And then we should be good. Y plus 2, 6, x minus 1. HSC level. And let me make this clear. At HSC, that's 4 marks. We don't expand. At school, they tell you to expand and everything like that. At HSC, you don't need to. So 1 mark for the derivative, 1 mark for substituting into your equation of a line, because that's the equation of a line. It says find, does not say show or prove, so it doesn't tell you what to get it into. You found it. So I'm going to leave it like that, just so you guys learn. But if, for those who really want it expanded, -6 minus 2 is -8. There's the other version. All right, next. Any questions about that one? We're used to that by now, equation of a tangent. And in arithmetic, that's C12. Probability. I'll see if that's year 11 or 12 in a second. Using the cosine rule. All right. A, 3 marks. Using the cosine rule, find the value of x. Don't delay it, just do it. I'll write the cosine rule one more time. C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C. C is 13, A is this, B is this, capital C is this. Good luck. You're solving for x. Keep your working out nice and neat. It's worth 3 marks. That's probably going to be a bit of working. It's required. Your working out would be, or could be even slightly different to mine. You don't need to copy every line. Just look at where you're stuck and compare. If you've got questions, please ask me. All right, questions? Is there a line that you guys don't understand? Or you didn't get that answer or anything? Okay, you got a question?
I'm trying to be,
B?
isn't it only as well?
No, just A.
Oh,
B, stat points and stuff is U12.
oh, that's not in the exam. Stationary forces.
Stationary points nature, have you guys done already?
You did that once.
This should be U12, it shouldn't be U11.
Oh,
But if you want, you can do it, it's just y dash equals to 0. But we're not going to do it right now. If you like, you can do that. And then you can check the solutions. Concepts and visual booklet. All right, anyone have any issues with A? M?
Why isn't it 2x squared plus 16?
I could have done it wrong. Here, this 16 plus 16?
No, the minus, because it's 2ab.
2, but then isn't cos 60 half?
Oh, wait, sorry.
Half times 2 is gone.
Oh,
I said talk to me.
I was so confused. I was like, wait, where did the cos 60 go? Now it makes sense.
Yeah. But see, I was saying, like, your math might be different to mine. You guys might have had cos 60, and then eventually you should realize cos 6 is a something. So plug it into your calculator. But yeah, these two will disappear. And then you're only left with this one, which is right there. And then expand. Alright, all good. Anybody else have any questions? No? Good to move on? Okay. Giovanni?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Show me. 13x squared. That big there. Okay, two mistakes. Minus 4x, when you expand it's minus 4, which is minus 8, not plus 4, minus 4. Second mistake is, yeah, here it's multiplied the whole thing by cos 60, right? The whole thing is multiplied by cos 60. What's happened, as you've expanded, which is all fine, it's fine, it's fine. This whole thing is going to be in brackets times by half. This whole expansion of this one here is going to be multiplied by half, which is why I avoid that. And what I did, I found what cos 60 is straight away, which is a half. Half times 2 is 1. So all I'm actually expanding is just these two brackets. So instead of me doing, let's just call it 2 times 3 times 5, instead of me doing 2 times 3, I did 2 times 5 is 10, 10 times 3 is 30. Does that make sense? So the same thing, I did 2 times half is 1, and then I did my brackets. What you're doing is just doing it the normal traditional way, left to right, but not always the best method. Look for anything that can simplify first. I guess the rule is usually simplify before expanding. So if you can, cos 60 is a half, and then yeah, that would help you. And then yeah, this bit here, minus 4 when you expand, it's minus 8x. Minus 4, minus 4. All right. Anybody else? All right. Let's go to the next one. C. C. I'll scroll it up. Does anyone think they know what's hiding in here when they see it like this? It'll help everybody else out.
Isn't it just m squared plus m minus 6?
How do you do all the hard questions and you get all the easy ones out wrong? You're crazy. Yes, she's right. It's actually a quadratic. That's just m squared plus m minus 6 equals 0. It's actually a quadratic. If you squared this, what happens? 2 times a third is 2/3, and that becomes m squared. It's literally a exponential equation. Good job. All right, finish it off now. So yeah, first look, most of you looked at that and went, whoa, what do we do with the power of a third? Again, wrong strategy. 1, 2, 3 terms, probably quadratic. Got it out, Emily? What did you get? M, and then this becomes m plus 3, m. So then m equals -3 and 2. And then of course you know that's t, because you're solving for t. So t to the power of a third equals -3. T to the power of a third equals 2. Now, how do we solve for t? Or how do you get rid of the 1/3? What do you do to both sides? You could do
cube
log.
it?
Say it again.
Do you cube root it?
Oh, close. Can anyone fix it up what she said? She said cube root it.
No, oh, what's it called? You power it to 3.
Yes, you
Okay.
cube it.
Cube
You do
it.
it power of 3. So if it was, it's already a cube root. 1 on 3 is a cube root. So you just power of 3. If it was power of a half, that's square root. You square it. You could have done logs, of course. Don't get me wrong. Your answer is -27 and 8. Yeah, you go powers of 3. Good job. Okay, let me see. No, that's integration. Next year. All right. Sketch the curve. I think we've done trig curves. Yes, rings a bell. So we have sine 2x. I think so. We did. Did we do trig graphs in year 11? Period and amplitude of trig graphs.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we did. So I'm going to say A is allowed. I will give you a bit of a clue. If you, firstly, you need them memorized. You can't do anything unless you know your original ones. Y equals sine x looks like this, where that is 2 pi and that is pi. Your amplitude is how far up and down it goes, -1 and 1. Your amplitude is this number here. And your period is 2 pi on n, where n is the number in front of x. So what number is in front of x?
2.
Yeah, oh, sorry, in this case. Sorry, in this case.
Oh,
1.
1.
So that's why it's 2 pi. So the idea of period is how many times, how often you will see one sign. Let's write that. How often you see one sine, cos, or tan. That's what period means. So if you got a period of 2 pi, remember this is one sine. So this shape, you see this shape right here, you'll see it one time. If I said period is pi, that means every pi you should see it once. How often you will see one sine. Okay. And amplitude is a number in front of sine, and that tells you how high and low to go. So this question, first thing we need to work out is what's my amplitude? 3. Nice and simple. You know now to go up 3 to go down 3. That number there. Period. The period is 2 pi on n, where n is
2.
2. So in this case, your period is pi. That means every pi you see
That
one
shape
side.
would be the curve.
Yeah, that shape. Perfect. So remember, first you've got to memorize your trig graphs. Once you've memorized, that's every pi, you see one of these. So it'll look like this, just so you guys know. There it is, 1. and then 2. Does that make sense? You see every pi, you see one of these shapes. So that's the shape that we're looking for. Here we go.
So the form is up.
Yeah, that's easy. That's not even a problem. 1 second. So then that's pi now, because every pi you see one sign. And there's another one. 2 pi. What number is this one right now? What number would this be? What's the highest it's going to go to right now? Sorry, I'm drawing this, by the way. I'm drawing y equals 3 sine 2x. I haven't plussed it by 4 yet. So what's the highest it's going up to? 3. What's the lowest it's going to? Negative 3. And then obviously, what do you think I'm going to do now? Move the whole thing up 4. Now, I don't move my whole thing up 4. Because that would be a waste of time of what I've just drawn. I don't have that time in my exam. The trick is move the graph down. You guys are remembering now. It's coming back. So what we do is 3 plus 4 is 7. 0 plus 4 is 4. Minus 3 plus 4 is 1. Can you see how I've moved the graph up 1? Oh, sorry, up 4. And then, where's my 0? There. Now it looks like I've moved my whole graph up 4 without moving my graph up 4. So don't move your graph up 4. If I see you do that, I know you're not doing it my way. Shall we do one more of those?
Yeah.
Wait, anyone still copying? Yep, all right. So in extension, you know your inverse trig functions, which don't have this whole amplitude period, don't have any of that. I think the inverse ones are easier than this, but it is. Done? All right, let's do a cos one then. Y equals cos x. Again, you got to know your original. Your original ones look like this. 2 pi again and pi. Again, your period is still 2 pi on n. Your amplitude is still the number in front of your cos. As long as you know the shape, let's try this one. Y equals y equals 3 plus 2 cos pi x. 3 plus 2 cos pi x.
Cos pi.
Cos pi x. Because I know that you guys will just be like, what? That's why I do it. What's my amplitude?
2.
2. What's my period?
2 pi on pi x.
Don't say x. N is the number in front of the x.
X pi.
So just pi. Yeah.
Just pi.
Just pi, just pi. So then that gives me a period of 2. So every 2, not 2 pi, not 360 degrees, not 180 degrees, it's not degrees. Every 2, like 2 centimeters, 2 meters, whatever. Every 2, you should see 1 cos. Then I give you a domain, and I say the domain is, let's go negative 4 to 4. So every 2, you should see 1 cos. All right, let's see how this would look. There's my graph. Again, always draw the one that's not shifted. So I'm going to draw just 2 cos pi x. There's 1, that's 2. Ugh. This is really bad. On 4. And then we go to the left. Minus 2. Minus 4. What's my amplitude? You guys said it's 2, so there's 2, and there's minus 2. Do we agree with that so far? For this. That's 2 cos pi x. And then very easy now, I'm going to plus 3. Plus 3. So that means this number now is no longer at 2. It is 5. This number is no longer at 0. It is at 3. This number is no longer at negative 2. It is at 1. And then obviously your new blue line or your new axis is this. 0. And there you go. And if you had a magic rubber like me, you can rub that out and it looks like it's been shifted up. So if you've got your erasable pens, you could do that. If you don't worry about it. You just write, don't mark. Don't mark this.
Instead of doing
If you really know what you're doing, why not?
Thanks, I'm
See you, mate. Bye-bye. All right, good stuff. Let's try another one. What else is there? Nope, 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 nope. 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 Geometry, no. Geometry is out. The function, okay. You can do question 2. Yeah, open it up. Okay. Well, what do we remember with these? We should remember that this one means bouncy. This one is cuts through. Cuts through. This one cuts through. Powers of 1, power of 1, they cut through. They're intercepts. Powers of 2, they are bouncy. And then the next thing you need to do after you've done the individual terms is look at it as the whole polynomial. So, what's the largest power of this? X squared. What's the largest power here? What's the largest one here? Multiply them together. You get negative x to the power of 4. For those who are already going, whoa, I don't remember any of this, that's because this probably was like week 4 or 5 of term 1. Now imagine you're in year 12 and you've got to go back to week 4 or 5 of term 1 of year 11. See why it's bad? So please, you got to keep always revising this stuff. It makes it a bit easier. Negative x to the 4. Now, negatives, wait, does anyone want me to refresh this from the beginning? Like the whole concept?
or just the bouncy card.
Yeah, we'll go through all of them again. Maybe before we do this question, let's just revise it. I think it's better. All right. So to sketch these graphs, there's 2 components you're looking at. You're looking at the whole polynomial, or the whole graph, and you're looking at individual terms. Individual terms, so that means if they are powers of 1s, x plus 1, I don't know, 3 plus x, 2 minus x, powers of 1s, they cut through / intercept. If they are powers of 2s, you know, whatever, yep, or powers of 4s even, sorry, that's power 2. They are parabolic in nature. Just to make it a little bit easier for you guys to remember, I usually use the word bouncy. So that means they will do this. Bounce. They're parabolas, in other words. And if there were any other odd number other than 1, you remember the words. Okay? That's why I use those words. Squiggly. It's the cubic style one. Whole polynomial. You look at it as the whole thing now. If it was an even power, the whole polynomial. If it's an even power, start top left. Odd power, start bottom left. Negative of above, so if it's negative of even power, where do you think you're going to start from? Start bottom left. And vice versa. If it's negative of x cubed or any odd power, instead of starting from the bottom left, you're going to start at the top left. So you flip them around. So if it was x squared, where do you start from? Top left. You're going to start up here. If it's an odd power, where do we start from? Bottom left. If it's a negative even power, well, you know positive even powers, you start here. But if it's a negative even power, you're not meant to start at top left. You're going to start at bottom left and vice versa. If it's negative odd, you start at the top left. So take all of that into account. And let's go back to this. Like I said, cuts through, bouncy, and that's a negative, that's a x, that's a positive x squared. So the whole polynomial will have the largest term as negative x4. Negatives mean start down here. Negative even, right? Start down here. Bounce at 2. Intercept at -1 and +1. Start down here. Intercept, bounce. So the answer is C. Start down here, cut, bounce. You can see it's coming up and bounces. Any questions? All right.
We don't know the why.
You don't need to know the why, so. Unless there was 2 to compare it by. All right, mean. Try number 6. Expected value of x. How do we do expected value of x again? No, that's probability. That's the bottoms. The bottoms must equal to 1. How do we do expected value of x?
Isn't it 0 times 0.2 plus 1, 0.3?
It's that one.
Okay.
This times this plus this times this plus this times this plus this times this plus this. Go do it. Give me an answer, please. I think there is a way to do it on your calculator. Give me a second. You guys do that. I'll try to find you a cheat. Just wait. But just do it first, anyways. If I did frequency, that should work, right, Sam? So if I did
Or
that,
just like that table.
yeah. Well, it's pretty easy to do what I just showed you guys, but just in case. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0.2, 0.3, 0.2, 0.15, 0.1, 0.05. Shift. 4, left.
I got 1.8, so C.
1.8? Yeah. So if you really wanted to, you could use your calculator, but I think it's equally easy to just do that because you need to know the formula, especially for U12. But If you wanted to use your calculator for now, if you really did, press, let me just make sure. Okay, shift, mode, down, 3, which is stat, frequency, you'll see, you want it to be on, so 1. On the top of your calculator, you'll see you're still in math mode. So then you want to press mode now. Press 2 for stat. Now press AC. You don't want to use any of those. Now on top of your calculator, you should see stat mode. Right? Then you'll press shift 1. Then you press 2 for data. Now you should see 2 columns, one saying X, one saying frequency. And then your X is obviously 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your frequencies are 0.2, 0.3, 0.2, blah, blah, blah. Once you put all that in, you press AC, and then you press shift 1, 4, and then 2, which is this X with a line, that's me. So a fair bit of working out still. To me, I just go, by the time you want to learn all this, it's good, but like, why? Just do it properly. It's up to you. It should work out for those who are trying it. Yeah, you might as well just do it on paper. I know, that's what I'm saying. But I thought I'll let you know. Because I know some of you will come up to me and say, see, I can do it on a calculator. I'll be like, yeah, it's good. It's not a problem, you can. But in year 12, when you start, because you're going to do this with calculus, so differentiation, integration, it'll be useless. Like you won't even use a calculator, it's just going to be algebra. So, all right, what is this one? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that was an easy 1 mark, good luck. Question 8. I don't know why they've written 2 marks, it's only worth 1 mark, it's a multiple choice, it's okay. Take your time. It's not that difficult, but they're trying to trick you with the words. D, what do you do? Sub them in, and then minus. Very easy, right? Of course, and that's why they specifically did that, to just confuse students who just thought, oh, whoa, what the heck is concentration of hydrogen ions in moles per liter and H plus pH value? This quantity, but that's the whole point of an exam, right? It is to trick you, but you're not meant to be tricked, because you just go, well, it's going to be everything I've done. So, hopefully he's done it right. Do we agree with his answer? Anybody? You agree? Did you sub in log as log or ln?
Log.
Yeah, because that's a base 10. If you wanted to use ln, you have to use it as negative ln, 3 times 10 to the power of negative 4 on ln of 10. And then minus negative log, whatever. Good.
How come change of base with both and then log?
Because they both have common B's still. They'll have certain sub-bases. ln specifically an E. Whereas with log, it's any sub-base it's trying to say. Okay, easy. Anyone have any issues? No. All right. Stated domain. No, that's not yet. I think that looks good for you guys. But that one looks even better. We'll do both. Let's start with the second one first. An 8-meter high vertical pole, flagpole ST, is situated on flat ground. The angle of elevation from A to the top of the tower is 30 degrees. That's 30. The angle of elevation from B to the top of the tower is 45 degrees. B is the south of the tower, B is south of the tower, and A is west of the tower, which means that that's a right angle, which they've given anyways. Find the distance from A to B. Who remembers the technique to be able to do all this?
You do 10 for both
Yeah.
of the triangles, and then you find the bases and times them by each other.
Not times them, but you're on the right track.
Sorry, put it
You're on the
into
right track. So you're going to find TB and TA. That's just how they work. See how she knows that? Because that's pretty much how they work. So there's your triangle, there's 8, there's 45, and that's TB. So opposite over adjacent. Tan 45 equals opposite over adjacent. Tan 45 should be 1. So then you'll get TB is equal to 8. And then do it again. There's another triangle. There's 30 degrees. That's 8. That's TA. Again, opposite over adjacent. So tan 30 is equal to 8 on TA. This time, tan 30 is 1 on root 3. Any questions at this stage? And then TA is equal to 8 root 3. Any questions? Not sure how to find something? Yep, 1 sec. I'll slow down.
We did 1 root 3.
1030, plug it into your calculator. What does it give you? Do you remember how to do it? Square it, mentally square root it. So, tan 30, you use that trick I taught you guys. Square it, mentally square root it, you should get 1 on root 3. Any questions now? Anyone not remember how to get that 1 on root 3? Alright, then once you've got that, AB, obviously, how do we find it now?
Pythagoras theorem.
Pythagoras' theorem. So AB squared is equal to 8 squared plus 8 root 3 squared, and then don't forget to square root that answer. All right, let's get it out. 8 root 3 squared plus 64 root answer gives me a nice 16. That was very nice of them. There you go. Very easy, 3 marks. Any questions? All right, let's go up. This one here. Probably the worst skill I've seen since last year, since the new syllabus. This has probably been the worst skill for Year 11 students. This conditional probability, union sets, intersections, they're just not getting it. Now, just so you guys know, this is a university topic that is in second semester or first year. And yes, this is on right now? Yeah, conditional probability. So this is not, I guess, the strongest topic for a lot of people. Because it is a little bit advanced, but hopefully, let's see how we go with this. For events A and B, what does this mean, this sign here? No, not or. It actually means and. So that's probability of A and B. That's it. The other one is a union, probability of A or B. That's an or. And just so you guys know, the formula for like, I guess, that links the two, probability of A or B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus the probability of A and B. Which makes sense. The way I see it is through a diagram, Venn diagram. So think of it like that. And there we go. It says A or B, so this or this. Well, that would be the probability of A plus probability of B minus the fact that they had to overlap as well, because you've counted it twice. That would be this or this. So it kind of makes sense. All right, so probability of A and B is P. What does A dash mean in this context? Does not mean directly. Yeah, not. So this is another way of saying complement. So what's the probability of not A and B? Sorry, the probability of A, blah, blah, blah. Let's start again. Probability of not A and B, but having B is 2P minus a quarter. And the probability of A and not having B is P on 3. The only, yeah. Given that A and B are independent, find the value of P.
When it says it's independent, doesn't it mean it's two separate circles?
Independent means they're mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means there's no intersection. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. That means, yeah, they're by themselves. So probability of hold on, don't confuse me. 1 second. Sometimes I agree with that and then I think of something else. A and B is P. Yeah, if they're independent, that means they're two different circles. So that should be probability of A and P is equal to 0, but that doesn't make sense because then you're just going to say P equals to 0. So hold on. Hold on. Did they make a mistake here? Should that have been union? Why do I feel like they've done a typo there? Let me just say another one. Probability of B is equal to probability of A and B plus probability of A and not B. No, probability of A. Yep. It's probability of A. Why do I feel like there's a mistake with the independent bit with this? Give me a sec, just to make sure. If there isn't a mistake, then we'll do it. Question 12b. To me, independent would be the intersection should be 0. If that's the case, then there's a miss. No, they haven't made a mistake. Just do it, huh? All right, let's go. But how come independent? Independent. But that's conditional. That's not really part of what we're trying to do here. No, I've got it. It's what I just wrote above. But independent. Then probability of A times probability of A and B. What was I thinking of? Mutually exclusive and independent. Sometimes when you might say something, let me think, mutually exclusive. Yeah, independent. They could be mutually, not mutually exclusive. If they're independent, probability of A times probability of B is probability of A and B. They're independent events. Now that it does make sense to me. Listen, probability of your two circle case, I think you're talking about mutually exclusive. And mutually exclusive is a bit different to independent, Tiana. That's where you're getting confused between the two. And I agreed with you because they're very close. Independent and mutually exclusive are close, but they're not exactly the same. If they're independent events, they work like this. If I told you you've got a dice, and I said you've got a coin, I said, what's the probability of getting a 6 and a tail? Well, the way that would work is, so you want a 6 and a tail. So what's the probability of getting a 6? The probability of a 6 is 1 out of 6 times the probability of getting a coin, 1 out of 2. So the probability of something and something is equal to the probability of one event multiplied by the probability of the other event. Probability of A multiplied by probability of B.
Alright, that makes sense. I think I just confused because of like independent, two separate circles.
Independent, I think you're talking about mutually exclusive.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right, mutually exclusive, that means the intersection is 0, or in other words, your two circles are different. That's a bit, that is a different case to independent events.
Okay.
So, what I had written above, I don't know if you guys remember what I wrote. I wrote, probability of A is equal to, so that's just a general formula for you guys to remember for before. We won't need it for this question. Probability of A is equal to, what did I say? Probability of A and B plus probability of A and not B. Does that make sense? So to have all the probability of A, it would be the probability of A and B plus the probability of A and not B. Does that make sense? No? No,
Yeah.
Good. No, okay, to some it's a no, that's fine. Look, watch this. If I said here, and if I said this, I want A. Well, actually, let me do it 2 different colored circles. That's 1, and that's your B. You agree with that? That's your A, and then that's your B. Okay. For A, this whole black A, do you agree that it would be this bit that they meet in the inside plus the outside, that's where they're not meeting, like that outside component? Do you agree that would give me all of A, Giovanni? Do you see that? So let me highlight it. So that bit there, plus where they meet. That is all of A. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So let's see if I've written that now in this way. Ready? Probability of A is the same as probability of A and B. A and B, this green bit. A and B plus the probability of A but not B, which is the yellow bit. So the yellow plus green gives me the whole black. Does that make sense? And I mean, you can have the same formula now for and this is stuff you can memorize. Probability of, because it doesn't change. Probability of B would be what?
Probability of A and B plus probability of not A.
Yeah, like that. That's it. You got it. Probability of A and B plus probability of not A but having B still. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions before I start this? Then probability of A and B is P. Probability of not A and B is 2P minus a quarter. You know, solve for P. Or, I mean, simplify this. 3P minus a quarter. Do the same thing with this one. Probability of A and B is P. And then A and not B is P on 3. So P plus P on 3. That should give you 4P on 3. Right? Any questions? And then, you know the formula, PA times PB must equal to PAB. So this times this must equal to P. And that's what I'm about to do now. But I need some more space, so I might have to scroll it down, rub these bits out. In the previous question. All right, here we go. PA times 3P minus a quarter. Please use the brackets, otherwise it's wrong. Equals to P. Expand. I get 12P squared on 3 minus 4P on 12. 12 and 3 cancels out, you're left with 4P squared. 4 and 12 cancels out, you're left with 3. So what do we have? We've got 4P squared. I'm not going to do anything fancy now. You guys know it. Just solve for P. So times everything by 3. Bring everything to one side. Factorize your 4P. P equals to 0. And P equals to a third. But P equals to 0 would mean that they're mutually exclusive, so I think the one we want is P equals to a third. P equals to 0 would mean they're mutually exclusive. And plus, if P equals to 0, look at this one here. Actually, here's a good one. If P equals to 0, what happens to this answer here? It becomes a negative. You can't have probability becoming a negative. So there's two ways to look at it. One, we know that P can't equal to 0 because I said that gives you mutually exclusive events. Otherwise, yeah, that's the answer. So the math here you shouldn't really be looking at because that's just algebra. You might do your algebra a bit differently to me, that's fine. What you should really be concentrating on is the first few lines that we've worked on up here. That's super important. Anyone want me to actually redo that question from the beginning again?
Yeah.
Yep, I'll do it. All right, so for events A and B, P, probability that A and B equals to P is P, probability that A and not A and B is equal to 2P, probability of A and not B is equal to P on 3, whatever, given that A and B are independent, find the value of P. The fact that they're independent events, that means they don't depend on each other. So the probability of one and the other is the probability of one multiplied by the probability of the other event. That's independent. Independent. So, and I showed you a good example with the dice and coin case that you guys can remember. If it's this and this, you know, what's the probability of having a boy and a boy? You would say half times a half. That's the logic. They're independent events. They don't depend on each other. All right, let's start. So the probability of A, we said, is A and B plus probability of A and not B. Does that make sense to everybody now? Again, maybe for some of you it's just easier to see it visually. So if you need to draw your Venn diagram, you can do that. Probability of A and B is P. A and not B is P on 3. Common denominator. You get that. Any questions there? Next one, probability of B is probability of A and B plus probability of B but not A. In other words, it's that one. So that becomes P plus 2P minus a quarter. By the way, some students don't know this, but you can write this one as probability of B and not A. So it doesn't matter, because it's still and, isn't it? So probability of B and not A, or probability of not A and B. That's the same thing. All right, where was I? This becomes 3P minus a quarter. Again, up to you. I didn't make it a common denominator before, but I'll do it this time. 12P minus 1 on 4. Any questions at this stage?
No.
Now, probability of A and B is P, which equals to A times B. Three times 4 is 12. The top, 4 times 12 is 48. P squared minus 4P. Now I did it in a different way altogether now than I did before. It's because your math, you might have done this. I don't know. It's up to you. Times by 12. Bring your P to one side. Minus 16. Factorize. And if you realize to factorize 16, good on you. P equals to 0, and the other one is P equals to 1/3. You're done. And that's the answer we want, because you can't get 0 there. Any questions? We're all good? Everyone? All right. So another thing that I did, or that I knew, and he gave me the answer of crossing out the 0, is this word right here. It says find the value of P. It does not say find the values of P. So because it's not a plural, I knew not to have two answers. I'll continue. Anyways, trapezoidal next year.
What if, you know, how 1 equals 0, if you put 1 3, what if it didn't do that and it's still some value?
They don't usually, but you would have to go with whatever your answer is. But just trying to tell you, that's usually the way you would want to look at it. That's next year, and that should be 2017 done. All right, let me make sure. 13, 12, I think we've answered all these. Let's go up. Yeah. 12. 11's been done. All right, I'm happy. 2017 done. (2018), 2 years ago. Question 3, 6, 3 and 6 from the multiple choice. All right, 2018 HSC. (2018 HSC). Question 3. This is 2018, yep. Question 3. Huh. What is the x-intercept of this line? My year 8 can answer that. Come on, let's do it. Page 53 for you, Giovanni. What's the answer? So what's your final answer when you get it y equals 0? Hey, if you wasted more than 5 seconds on it, you're wasting too much time. -6 and 0. Move. That's number 3 done. Number 3 is done. What did I say was the other one? Number 6. Number 6. A runner has 4 different pairs of shoes. A runner has 4 different pairs of shoes. If 2 shoes are selected at random, what is the probability that there will be a matching pair? Right. Okay, if you can't picture it, try to draw it up. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 8 shoes. You want a matching pair. Your first one. What could you have gotten?
I put 2 on 8 and I got 1/4.
Just 2 on 8, it's not going to work like that.
Okay.
2 shoes are selected at random, what is that there will be matching? There will be a matching pair.
Don't you do a probability tree, do matching, non-matching, and then do a...
Wait, I missed it. Wait, you're too close to the mic. Say it again.
I said, don't you do a probability tree and then do what one branch is matching, the other branch is non-matching, and do that till you get the...
I guess so, something like that. But can you do it without doing the whole tree diagram?
Yes.
If 2 shoes are selected at random, what is probably that there will be a matching pair? Well, again, if you guys want me to, I'll do it like this: blue, blue, green, green, yellow, yellow, red, red. Pick a sock. Pick a sock. Blue. So you've selected blue. What's the probability of selecting a blue? No, just yeah. In your first sock. 2 and 8. Your first sock. You have a 2 out of 8 chance of selecting a blue. Do we understand that? Your second sock. What must it be?
Don't you times it by 2 on 8? You can.
1 on 7, because you would have already selected a blue sock.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
that's- Does that make sense right now? And then what? It's not done. What must you multiply all of that by? Why? Because there's 4 possibilities. I just said pick a sock. He said blue. So we went with the idea that if it was blue. What if it wasn't blue? But if it was green, yellow, or red, well, it works the same way. So you could add blue with green, with yellow or red, or you can understand you're just going to times it by 4. The answer should be 1 on 7. Does that make sense? Or you could do what Tiana was saying, which is the whole tree diagram, and do it blue, green, yellow, whatever, and then do it again. But
That's what
like it's too time consuming for 1 mark. You've got to start seeing it like that. Does that make sense to everybody? The way I see how I drew it all up, and it's okay. Like, do that. No one's stopping you. It's actually the right technique to draw it up. Any teacher will tell you, draw it up for your probability. And play the game, like, I said, make it up blue, blue, and green, green, yellow, yellow. And I said, pick a sock, and you said blue, and so we actually did it like that. And if that's easier, then that's the way you should be doing it when you get stuck. All right, let's go to the next one. That was 6 done. Then next is 11A and C. All right. (11A), oh, here it is again, and C. No, C's out of the syllabus. How come they haven't crossed that one out? Oh, they crossed the wrong one. That should have been here, and that's allowed. That's okay, these two. Don't worry, books still get things wrong. Okay, first answer.
The 9 plus root 3 over 2.
9 plus, I think, 9 minus, isn't it? Because you got to multiply by the conjugate.
Oh,
9 minus 3 root 2 on
7.
Yeah, I think so. And then this one,
X equals 11 over 3.
less than.
Oh wait, never mind.
I think x is less than negative 3. Test, check it out. I could be wrong.
because it flips when you do
When you divide by negative, it's going to flip as well.
the yeah.
11A and B. Any
Yeah, I don't know how I
questions?
worked that out just then. It's definitely negative 3.
Yeah, I think you did 10 plus 1, it's okay. All right, 12A, 12D. Let's check them out. 12A, 12D. Oh, no, you can do that one. You can do G. It's not very accurate, is it, these guys? Had one job. Make students' life easy and they couldn't. 1G. Sorry, 11G. What must you use to differentiate this?
Quotient? Is that
Yes.
called? Okay.
Quotient rule. And I'll just write the rule here again. So it is u dash v minus v dash u over v squared.
I got EX on x plus 1 squared.
Ex on x plus 1 squared. All right, let's have a look. U dash v. So u dash v minus v dash u on x plus 1 squared. If you expand the top, you're very close, Tiana. I think it's
Oh, wait, I
x.
didn't do the EX plus 1. I didn't factorize that in. I forgot to do that.
All right. Can't really forget it. You got to follow the rule.
Oh, I know where I went wrong because where I done the EX, I accidentally times the YX as well.
Yeah, which you're meant to. Meant to become xex, and then these two cross out, and that's it. That's the answer. Xex on x plus 1 squared.
Okay.
All right. Any questions from anyone? Because derivative of ex, remember, it's just itself multiplied by the derivative of the power. Derivative of x is just 1. So ex is specifically still ex. That doesn't change. U dash v minus v dash u. Any questions there? Clicking on the wrong one. 12. I think that was. I haven't done 12 yet. All right. Bearings. Let's do it. 12A. Again, I'll let you think about it for a bit first. You guys know we don't like this north business. I don't mind this one, but I don't like north. So, what's the first thing you think I would do? Anyways, start. Just giving you guys a clue. Okay, my turn. Let's try. Let's see how you went. A ship travels from port A on a bearing of 50 degrees for 320 kilometers to port B. It then travels on a bearing of 120. I will draw that. I know now that means that's 30 degrees, just for my curiosity, and obviously this is 60 degrees. I know that's 50, so I know that's 50. See how this is always, if you guys have seen my working out, every single time I've done this, it's always been the same thing. I've never changed. It then travels on a bearing for 190 to port C. You guys know what I do there as well. I will draw that. And then the question says, what is the size of ABC? I've already solved it. Right? Hasn't that been the case every single time I've done this? I've always solved I before I even read I. The answer is 110 degrees. What is the distance from port A to port C? What is that distance? X? Well, that's going to be what rule? That's going to be cosine rule. And the answer, the part where students usually lose the mark is 10 kilometers. Make sure you get that bit out. X squared equals cos 110. And don't forget to square root it, of course, to find x.
I got 424 kilometers. What does it mean to round to the 10 kilometers?
So the nearest 10 kilometers, that would mean 420
kilometers?
That's it.
Okay. Why couldn't they just have said the nearest kilometer?
Because, some students don't understand the whole idea of the 10 kilometers. It just filters out a few more people across the state. Nearest kilometer, they assume 99% of the state would know what to do there. 10 kilometers, few students don't get it, so you kill a few students off. Sig figs, a few more students wouldn't get it, so you kill a few more students off, and so on. All right, any questions? All good? Let's go, what's the next one? After 12, A and D, let me just do D. No, that's C, D. Have you guys done velocity and stuff? I thought that was part of U12.
We've done velocity. Don't you just differentiate it and then...
Yeah, it's just derivatives, but I thought it's really part of U12. Well, I'm going to be going through it in U12. For those who have done it, you just said it, you're just going to differentiate to get velocity. Initial just means time is 0. And what time is a particle stationary? Again, that's just where y dash equals to 0. So you differentiate it, make it equal to 0. But for those who haven't done it, we haven't done it yet, because I teach this is my first U12 topic. It's meant to be part of U12. The way I'm doing my syllabus, so I'm not exactly going to be going through that one.
What page was it?
That one there's page 60. D. Next one, 13C. 14A and E. 13C. See how it says stationary points? And that's not in it. So that's why like stationarity and stuff like that, that should all be part of U12. Whereas this is U12. So it's just weird. But it doesn't matter. What did I say? 13C and that's it? Yeah, okay. 13C. Exponentials. Yes, definitely. No. Take your time again, have a read. Put in everything you know. I'll give you guys a minute. All right, here we go. The population of a country grew exponentially between 1910 and 2010. This population is modeled by this, where the population is in country millions. T is the time in years after 1910, and K is a positive constant. The population of the country in 1960 was 184 million. Show that the value of K is this. Well, it started off at 1910, we're now in 1960, so what does time equal to? 50, and the population is 184 million. So obviously you're just going to sub it in and solve. That's very easy. 184 equals 92 E 50 K. How do we solve for K? Divide by 92. That should be 2. What do we do at this stage? Log both sides. And then what do you do now?
Divide by 50.
Divide by 50. And fingers crossed, 0, 1, 3, 9. Correct to 4 decimal places. The reason why that's a show question rather than a find question, if you couldn't show it, at least you got the answer, you could still get full marks for double A. Assuming that this model continues to be valid after 2010, estimate the population of the country in 2020. So how many years is that? T equals?
110 years.
How many years?
So do you take 2020 minus 1910?
Yeah, 20 take
Okay.
1910. When we
Yeah.
started in 1910. So 110 years. Right? Isn't it? Why are you guys confusing me? 2020 take away 1910? Yeah, 110. 110 years. And that's it. Very easy. P equals 92 E K T.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just have a quick question for my booklet. Can you just write it down and answer it?
Yep. Second.
So it's simplify close bracket.
Wait. Just wait. Million. 40 to 122.72 million. Give me a second. 0.0139. Now, if you use this answer, 0.0139, you would have not got this answer. So if you had used this, you would have not got this, right? You would have got 424. But we always use our non-rounded answer, so which is this guy here. So if you did use that, if you did use it because you couldn't do I, then it's 4 marks for 2, because you'll get 0 for the first one. But if you were able to get it out, you'll get 2 marks there, and then you'll only get 1 mark for the next bit if you used the rounded answer. You've got to use the non-rounded answer, which would be this. And it says to the nearest million, so that has to be multiplied by 1,000,000. And to the nearest million, you're looking at 422.72 million. All right, hold on. Let me just get it all out again because I didn't write the rest. 92 e log 2 on 50 times 110. It was 42.7209909946. Like I said, it's million. So you got to times it by 1,000,000. If I times that by 1,000,000, it's 422.7, which means it's 423 million. 423 million. Okay? If you didn't write the zeros, you also don't get 4 marks for that. You just wrote 423 million. It's more correct, you'll get 4 marks for that. 423 million, if you just write that, you'll get 4 marks. But yeah, just to make it clear. Okay, any questions before we do Larson's question? All right. Like I said, if you need access to these papers, you've got. I did send you the second lot of ones. If you want more, you've got to email me. Last time, what's your question?
Okay, so it's simplify cos bracket pi over 2 minus x bracket all over cos x.
Over cos x?
Yeah.
What's cos 90 minus x? Can anyone recall what cos 90 minus x is?
Sine theta.
Just sine x. And what's sine x on cos x? Done.
Yeah.
Easy. Any other questions?
No. That's it.
Let's see if we can find one last one. Yeah. That looks right. Question 14A for year 11. Question 14A. Yep, thought so. All right, let's make that our last one. Okay, in triangle KL and M, KL is equal to 3, LM is equal to 6, and KLM is 60 degrees. The point N is X. The point N is chosen on side KM so that LN bisects angle KLM. So bisects, which means it cuts in half. The length LN is X. Okay, a lot of things are happening. But that's all right, the diagram is given to you. Find the exact value of the area of triangle KLM. Well, that's easy. How do I find the area of a triangle?
Half AB sine C.
Half AB sine C. What's A? 3. What's B? 6. What's sine C? 60 degrees, because you're using the whole triangle. Sine 60, plug it into your calculator, should give you root 3 on 2. And then your answer is 18 divided by 4, 9 root 3 on 2. So leave the root 3 and you're done. Any questions? No? There we go with that. Next one, hence or otherwise find the exact value of x. Hence or otherwise find the exact value of x. Okay, hence, huh? All right, I think I know what you're trying to make me do. Yeah, and then equals to that. Yep, I got it. Who thinks they know what the hence, or how the hence is going to work? To find x. No idea at all. Like zero? Can you even make a guess?
Make it good.
Make a guess.
And then,
NM and LN are the same length. You don't know that. You can't say that these are the same. Unless there was a reason. Do you have a reason for it? No. If you don't know, then I don't know.
can you find the length of K?
Can you find the length of KM? You KN, but how do you find the length of KN? You're missing this side. And if you want to use sine rule, then you need another angle, which you don't have either. You're missing the point of the hence. It's okay. I'm trying to. I'll bring you back to hence, hence, and this. Think about it. Anybody at home? Even if it's wrong, just tell us what you're thinking, so we can narrow it down some ideas.
Would you use the sine rule?
Again, but you can't, right? Because, like, do you have another angle? Can you tell me another angle?
Well, I mean, you've got this 60 degrees, and you have the length of km.
Right.
Yeah. And you have the length of 6.
Km, we don't know. So that's going to be, like, let's call that y.
Oh, sorry.
And then, you know, this is 60 degrees.
Yeah.
But then you don't know, like, what this angle is or what this angle is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oops. So sine rule won't work, and cosine rule won't work. Again, I'm taking you back. Hence and area. Think about what they made you just find. KLM. Think about what you haven't found. Hence, area. One more try from anyone. No. So those are probably going to be the hardest things for you to do. It's a skill that you've got to learn. What do I have? What do I need? How do I get there? What you have is the fact that it tells you it's an area. What you need is to find x. And the way you're going to do that is split up the two triangles, add the areas up, and you already know the total area. The total area has to be 9 root 3 on 2. So this is area 1, that's area 2. And that's it. That's what the hence is there for, and that's why it's telling you to find the area first. So area equals area 1 plus area 2. Area 1 is half AB sine C plus half AB sine C. What must this equal to? 9 root 3 on 2. And obviously, I'm sure you can all see you can solve for x very easily from that line. So I'll just finish it off. Sine 30 is a half. Half times half is a quarter. That becomes 3x on the 4. That's half. Half times 6 is 3. 3 on 2. And you're done. So you can see how different your exam questions are to your textbooks. I can't keep saying it to you, but there you go. That thinking can only come as you do more and more of these. 3/4 plus 3 on 2, that is 9 on 4, so 9x on 4. 9 and 9 I know can cancel out, bring the 4 up, and then 4 and 2 cancels out, you've got a 2 on the top. Pretty much, me doing it very fast, you should get x equals 2 root 3. 2 root 3, done. So the concept was, add the two areas together. That's why it says hence. But you guys are not used to that because you don't get hence questions in your textbooks. Hence means use what you just did in I, specifically. Whatever you just did in I, do it again. But what you got to work out is how to incorporate that, and it's obviously, in this case, it's your two areas added together will give me the whole area of the whole shape. Today it's that, tomorrow it could be subtract. Subtract the areas to get it. So you just got to play with the context, but at least you're exposed to it now. That's fine.